to make some protein waffles that I was inspired by from a YouTuber that I just started watching. I have her on in the background right now. It's the Miller family, I think, but she seems really cool, and she's making super healthy like meal prep for her family. And in one of those, she made protein waffles. So I don't remember her specific recipe, but she still inspired me. But I found a recipe on, I just did a Google search and I found Greek yogurt waffles, and it is from the stayatHomeMomChef.com. Awesome, what a dream. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple modifications. I'm gonna add some flaxseed and add some vanilla and some cinnamon. And it calls for honey, but I'm gonna use maple syrup instead. All right, so let's get started. First thing I'm gonna do is ground up some flaxseed, because that's when it's the most healthy, is fresh ground flaxseed. So I'm just gonna take some of this. It calls for 2 cups of flour, so I'm just gonna take a 1/4 cup of flaxseed, and it will probably actually turn out being more, we'll see, but I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup of flaxseed, put it in my blend jet. I tried this in my little tiny food processor the other day, and I put it in something, I don't remember what it was, but the food processor did not grind them, so I apologize. This is gonna be loud. While that's doing whatever it's doing, I'm gonna crack some eggs into this bowl. I use this measuring bowl from Pampered Chef, which I love and use all the time. These are fresh eggs that sit on my counter. I just washed them to use today. So I'm gonna put 2 eggs in here. And I've never made this before, so I'm hoping it turns out, because I hate to waste food, but anything that gets a little extra protein in our diet. Okay, 2 eggs, and I'm going to do this again. 1 3/4 cups of milk. It's using organic vitamin D milk. This has like 8 grams of protein per cup. Actually, I'm just gonna eyeball it. So 1 3/4 cups. Flaxseed looks pretty ground up to me. Let's whisk this together. So yogurt and honey are next. 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt. I don't have, my waffle maker is 1700 years old, so I have to spray it. It's not one of these new fancy ones people use that you don't have to spray, like the Dash ones. All right, so this is just non-fat Greek yogurt I get from Aldi. This has 16 grams of protein per 3/4 of a cup, and it calls for 1/2 cup. I'm gonna take my 1/2 cupper and just scoop it right in. And oh, I forgot to get them out, but Riley, my 15-year-old, only likes homemade waffles with fruit in it, so I'm gonna put blueberries in it as well. So I'm hoping I get a decent amount so I can freeze them, or at least put them in the fridge for like a week, so that we can eat them throughout the week. Okay, paper towel. I just have this tiny little whisk. And it works great. All right, so it says 1 tablespoon of honey, so I'm just gonna eyeball it. Maple syrup is probably more like a 1/4 of a cup. So now that I have all the wet ingredients in, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my ancient waffle maker. I'm gonna use the not canola oil, absolutely not. Olive oil spray to spray the waffle maker. I always put a mixing board underneath my waffle maker just because if it drips, and it's so much easier to clean. I'm gonna plug this in, open it up, make sure it's nice and clean. It is. All right, and we'll keep going. So now it's the dry ingredients. So 1.5 tablespoon of baking powder. Wow, I didn't know if I have that much baking powder. 1.5 tablespoon. All right. And about 1/2. teaspoon of salt. Use pink Himalayan salt for everything. So many better options than regular table salt. Alright. I'm gonna add the cinnamon. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the vanilla in, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put a little bit of cinnamon because it tastes good. And then 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Let's see how much flaxseed we have. So remember, I put 1/4 cup in there and I ground it up, and that's how much we have. It's probably close to 1/2 cup. It always sticks at the bottom, it seems like. Okay, so that's about as much as I can get out. So that's 1/2 cup, and it's a little more than 1/4 cup, I guess. There's a little bit more in there. I can't quite get out though, and that's okay. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is just take the rest and put it, use flour. Let me grab a fresh spoon here. I have some ground beef sitting out for dinner. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for it with it yet. Okay, so that's 1/2 cup. It calls for 2 cups, so I need 1.5 cup more. It's 1 cup. And 2. I'm actually going to take my spoon and mix this in now. There are some other recipes online for high protein or protein waffles, and you have to have protein powder, like a vanilla protein powder, which I do have, but I've tried baking with protein powder before and have not been super successful. So I'd opted to just use flour and flaxseed instead. And it is unbleached white flour, which I know isn't the best for you, but I always try to get the unbleached. Oh goodness. 'Tis the season for flies. Okay. This is already starting getting bubbly, which is always a good sign, I feel like, because then they always rise really well. I'm sure all that baking powder helps with that. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but I have the YouTuber I've been following a lot more on lately. She's making some dinner ideas, and I've been watching her every day. All right, I'm gonna leave this off to the side, and just for funsies, I'm gonna add some baking vanilla. I love this brand. Probably like a teaspoon. So this batter, of course, is a little darker because we used that almost 1/2 cup of flaxseed. It smells really good though. I think that looks great. I'm going to heat up a little bit, let this get bubbly, and then we'll add blueberries and see how it goes. So one thing I really like about this bowl is that, I got an itch in my ear. Ah! One thing I like about this bowl is it has a spout. And it's easy to pour into whatever you're doing. Like if you're making muffins, you can pour it right into the muffin tin, and it like makes much less of a mess. All right. Clean up a little bit. Stuff back in the fridge. So it is required, and I never knew this before, that your flaxseed should be refrigerated. bought ground flaxseed and I kept it in a bowl in my pantry with a lid on it, and it went rancid really fast. But you have to refrigerate these after opening, and I had no idea. Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh, I've got blueberries. That is the rest of my maple syrup, so I definitely need to get to my neighbors and get some local, organic maple syrup. Today I'm drinking my organic coffee from Aldi, and I've been using, I'll show you. This pumpkin spice almond milk creamer. This is like my 4th one I've had. It's almond milk pumpkin spice creamer from Aldi, and it probably doesn't have the best ingredients, but it's better than some others, and it's pretty good. I like it. It's very thick. I think it's because it's made out of almond milk. I don't know why I said almond milk. Because oat milk is usually thick, I guess. Okay. That is definitely thicker. Another mix here. I'm always nervous about making pancakes and waffles. I don't know why, but for the life of me, just the blueberries from Aldi, I'm gonna pour in a couple and just kind of fold them in. I cannot make pancakes. I'm gonna use all these blueberries. They have been washed. I wash them and then just store them in the container. I used to measure them out. I shouldn't say measure, goodness. It has been a rough couple weeks. Anyways, I used to put them in a container, but I come to not like the container, so I just wash them in the package. I rinse them in vinegar and water and let them just soak for a little bit, and then put them on my counter to dry, and then put them back in the fridge. Okay. Olive oil, and let's see how this goes. And again, I put that it's really great to try to talk and do something at the same time. Whatever this thing is called, I put underneath my waffle maker so it doesn't make a giant mess. Here we go. Now you can see it. So like I said, this waffle maker is 17 years old or more. It's probably more than that, because I'm pretty sure we got it like used, or not used, but somebody gave it to us for our wedding. And I don't remember if it was from someone like that they used to use, or if it was new. I don't remember. We got married almost 20 years ago, so we've had it a long time. Yeah, see, more than 17. All right, while that's cooking, I'm just gonna put the rest of the stuff away, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Wow, it smells delicious. It smells so good. I will link the recipe in the comments so that you guys can try it. But remember, I did change it up a little bit, so as I always do. It looks really good, and it smells really good. I'm super excited about how it smells. So with this waffle maker, I always just make sure the light turns off. There's a little red light up here, and when that turns off, it's when you know it's done. And I usually give it a little extra minute after that as well. I do have like a little waffle maker. Well, it's actually Elizabeth's, my oldest daughter's. So the light is off now. She has a small heart-shaped waffle maker. It's kind of like a Dash waffle maker, but I decided just to use this one. less to wash. All right. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, those look super good. So yummy. All right, looks good. All right, so I'm just gonna make the rest of these, and when they are all done, I will show you how they look and how many there are. So looking super tasty.